What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I have some new information that has come out about the Social Security Fairness Act. I want to share that with you guys today. If you guys don't know about the Social Security Fairness Act, this is a bill that is going through Congress right now. It was passed off by the House, and now it's being sent to the Senate. And the Senate has about 2 weeks in order to act, 2 to 3 weeks. Realistically, it will be 3 weeks, but they're not going to work the full 3 weeks. So we have about 15 days of actual time where the Senate will be in session and they'll be able to at least bring this up and address it. And so I want to talk about this. This will provide an increase for some people receiving Social Security benefits. It will impact about 2.5 million people who are currently receiving Social Security benefits. And so I want to show you this information, but first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video, and if you're watching this content, you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. And also, make sure you follow me on Blue Sky. There'll be a link in the comment section. It'll be pinned at the very top. Just click on that link. It'll take you over to Blue Sky. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this public announcement, I guess you can call it, but our press release, I guess is a better word. Now, this is coming from the National Association of Police Organizations, okay? And this is basically, they're an, just look at it as this. You have an association that has an umbrella over a lot of different associations throughout the U.S., okay? Different law enforcement associations. Now, one thing I want to mention, actually, even before we go to that, let's come back here. I want to talk a little bit about the fact that this is not just for police officers. This is not just for firefighters or just for teachers. This impacts a lot of people who are working for state and local government. So you don't have to be a police officer. You don't have to be a firefighter. You don't have to be a teacher. You can be working as a janitor for the state or for local government, and you're collecting a pension. The fact that you're collecting a pension and you're not paying into Social Security, that is where Weapon GPO, that's where that will impact you. Okay. Now, it doesn't impact everyone. There was someone in the comments a few days ago that said, look, I'm a police officer and this doesn't impact me at all. I'm able to collect my pension and Social Security. Some people actually pay into a pension and Social Security at the same time, and so it doesn't impact them. But for some of us who just paid into a pension and we didn't contribute to Social Security at all, it will impact us, even if later down the road we still work and we still pay into the payroll contribution and we still qualify for Social Security benefits. Our benefits can be reduced. Okay, so let's go back. Now, I want to take a look at this press release, and what I want to show you is the new information that just came out, and I think this is good. Okay, and actually this came out last week, but look at what they're saying here. So they're following this very, very closely. Okay, and when I say they, I mean this organization is following it very closely. It says Senate Democrats ran a hotline for H.R. 82 this week to see if senators in their party would oppose bringing the bill to the floor for a vote, and the bill cleared the hotline. So this is really, really, really good news, because Chuck Schumer, Senator Schumer, can bring this to the floor. But what they wanted to do is they wanted to kind of put a test out there. Okay, are you guys, when it comes to Democrats, are you guys going to try to do something to stop me bringing this to the floor? Are you going to try to do something to stop this bill from moving forward? And when it comes to the Democrats in the Senate, they said, no, we're not going to stop this. And so what's also important is we need to look at the Republican senators. How did they feel about this? And this organization is following up with the Republican senators. They say we need ranking member of the Senate Finance Committee, Senator Crapo, and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell to agree to bring this bill to the floor for a quick up or down roll call vote. Okay, so it's not really necessary because the Minority Leader doesn't have the power to bring this to the floor. But what they're trying to do, what they really want to do, is they don't want any hiccups when it comes to bringing this to the floor. Politicians, they don't like to bring something to the floor, like leadership. They don't like to bring something to the floor if it's not going to pass. And I have issues with that. I think certain bills you should be bringing to the floor just to see what these politicians will do. Will they vote for it or vote against it? But I think, especially when it comes to the Senate, they don't like to bring things to the floor that are not going to pass or that will see a filibuster, because a filibuster means it doesn't go anywhere, and then it's almost like it looks like a failure for leadership because they're bringing something to the floor that they know is not going to pass. They want to negotiate before they bring it to the floor. But right now, Democrats can still bring this to the floor because it looks like they're in agreement. Now, you need 60 votes. You need 60 votes in order to pass this. Right now, and they're saying here that there's 60 co-sponsors. I've heard 63 co-sponsors. I've heard 61, 62. So nonetheless, you have 60. All you need is 60. If you have 60 senators that vote for this to move forward, then it will pass. And then it will go to the president for final signature, okay? And these are 60 co-sponsors of Senate Bill 597, which is a very similar bill to H.R. 82. And this is Senator Collins and Brown's bill. So this is their version of H.R. 82. And so that's where we are right now with this bill. And we're so close to getting this passed. Now, we have 2 weeks. They're going to have to do something in 2 weeks. Of course, they're going to have to do the appropriations bill. They're going to have to vote on the budget. They're also going to need to vote on defense spending. And so those are two important bills that they're going to have to vote on. But hopefully they can sneak this one in there. I won't even say sneak this one in there. Hopefully they can put this bill on the floor and vote on it and pass it. And I mean, like I said, it's very, very close. Okay, when I say very close, I mean time frame is very close. Now, if it does get passed off by the Senate, I think President Biden will go ahead and sign this. And usually, if a president is, if they don't want to sign something, then they're going to let the Senate know or let Congress know ahead of time. Look, I'm not going to sign this, so you guys are going to need to make some changes. That way they don't go through the whole process. The House passes it, and then the Senate passes it, and then it gets to the president, and then the president doesn't sign it. So we haven't heard anything from President Biden as far as will he not sign this bill? Will he veto this bill? So I'm pretty confident that he's going to sign it if it does come to his desk. Now, what some presidents will do in a situation like this where they really want it to pass, then they'll go on the record saying, look, if you pass this bill, it gets to my desk, I'll sign off on it. They'll put that out there. And that helps when it comes to bringing people together, bringing these Congress people together to vote for a bill. So sometimes they do that. I haven't heard President Biden do that. But this is a bipartisan bill. And right now, you do, just so you kind of know the breakdown when it comes to the support. And let me go back really quickly here because I think they outline at least a vote count, and we'll just go over. Okay, so in the House, right here, you had 327 yeses and 75 noes. Okay, so, and I want to just break this down just so you understand, along party lines. This is a bipartisan bill, but along party lines, where is most of the support coming from? Well, most of the support is coming from Democrats. And when we look at the nays, 71 of those were Republicans. And then you had 4 that were Democrats. Okay, so you see in the House, you had 71 Republicans that didn't want to go forward with this proposal and only 4 Democrats. So when it comes to the Senate, and I just went over this, just talking about this hotline that they put out there, the Democrats had no issue. They're not going to try to block this, but we're still waiting on the Republicans in the Senate to find out if they're planning to do anything to try to block this. Now, my only fear right now is that the Senate doesn't take this up. If the Senate doesn't take this up, that means it will expire at the end of the year, and then you'll have a new Congress coming in January 3rd, and now you're going to have to start from scratch. And I don't know if Representative Johnson in the House will bring this to the floor, so the leader in the House, I don't know if he's going to bring this to the floor. He didn't bring this proposal to the floor. They actually did what they call a discharge petition, where they got at least 218 signatures, and that's how they were able to force this to the floor. Now, Speaker Johnson voted yes on this proposal, but he didn't bring this to the floor himself. He let the discharge petition go through. And so if we're looking at this situation next year, let's say the Senate doesn't act on this, and now they're starting from day one again, then we're probably not going to see this pass. We probably won't see it pass for a very, very long time, if at all, because we'll be looking at a situation where now Speaker Johnson and Republicans will be controlling both chambers. And Speaker Johnson, because he didn't bring it to the floor last time, he probably won't bring it to the floor this time. They'll have to do another discharge petition. And then at that point, then they'll have to bring it to the floor, pass it, send it over to the Senate. And then, I mean, it's just, this is the perfect opportunity to get this done. And you have support. You had support in the House, they passed it. You have support in the Senate, bring it to the floor and pass it. Because if they don't, it's going to be very, very hard for me to see this passing in the very near future if they can't get it done now. So I want to know what you guys think about all this, so let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.